everyone. I'm Vanessa Buckingham, and today I have a very special guest, Cynthia Jordan. And we're here today to talk about her musical, Pearl. But first, I really want to talk about her unique and incredible background in music. You've pretty much done it all.
I accidentally wrote the country music song of the year.
Oh, and which one is that?
Jose Cuervo, you are a friend of mine.
Oh my goodness. That's just so amazing. Everybody knows that song.
Exactly. I was really raised on the beach. I'm a surfer girl. Somehow I got country song of the year. And that's the story in itself. But it really told me, the universe was telling me, this is what you do. You write music and you write stories. So I call myself a storyteller now.
Wow.
I've been telling stories with music for a long time, and then I started writing books and now musicals.
Wow, that's incredible. So how did you create Pearl?
Pearl.
Where did that come from?
Pearl is the new musical, and it's going on stage for the first time this summer
Wow.
of 2023.
Oh my goodness.
Exactly.
That is so exciting.
It is, because it's been a journey in itself. But all of my projects are kind of missions, crusades, that type of thing. And this one especially is geared towards women.
Oh, great.
Yes.
we need more content on this subject.
Exactly.
Yes.
So in San Angelo, Texas, I moved there in 2005. San Angelo has two main tourist attractions. One is Fort Concho, and that was built to protect the people coming west from the Comanche.
Mm-hmm.
The other is Miss Hattie's Bordello on Concho Avenue. So San Angelo is full of great history.
Mm-hmm.
It was built on saloons, gambling, and ladies of the evening, just like the Wild West.
Oh boy.
Exactly. Exactly. They called it the Wild West. I was on Concho Avenue one day, and I was looking at the brothel, and I thought, I wonder why women did that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I looked up the Everlay sisters. I started doing research about that because it really got into my head. Why would women do that?
Mm-hmm.
And the Everlay sisters made millions of dollars.
Wow.
And they also told their women not to be intimate with their customers because of disease and pregnancy.
Right.
But they still made millions of dollars. So what is that about?
And that was millions of dollars in the 1900s.
Oh, yes. In today's money, to go to the Everlay house, you had to drop about $6,000 to $8,000.
Wow.
Yes. So they made a lot of money.
So it was definitely the higher clientele.
Exactly.
Of the city.
Exactly. The girls had to be dressed, educated, up on current affairs. In those days, it was important to be a lady. They knew etiquette, that type of thing, to entertain the gentlemen. And the clientele that was invited into the Everlay house was the elite.
Mm.
So these women figured out the same reason why a wealthy man will buy a Lamborghini instead of maybe
a Honda.
A Honda, whatever. Exactly. Or a Porsche, something like that. We will give them first-class women.
Mm.
So it was kind of a happy ending kind of place.
Mm-hmm.
The women were trained to be creative. And this book and this project, Pearl, is all about human nature.
Mm.
Why were the brothels busy? That's called biology.
Yeah. Natural human instinct.
But why are brothels for women
Mm-hmm.
wanting male entertainment not as popular? That's also biology.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's going
So
on
everything
there?
is all about human nature and giving these women a voice.
Mm-hmm.
They had integrity. They kept secrets. They didn't go knocking on anybody's door and saying, guess where your husband was last night. They didn't do anything like that. And it's still going on today. It's the oldest profession in the world. Why? And why would women, I kept asking myself these questions. Why would women want to do that? Ew.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I thought, when I found out that there was no intimacy and that the gentlemen who came to the Everlay house had to be respectful. Did I say they had to be respectful? Did I say they had to be respectful? Number one.
So definitely gentlemen.
They couldn't be obese and they couldn't smell bad.
Had to take care of themselves.
That's right. And I thought, wait a minute. This is a beautiful message for girls today.
Wow. And
Exactly.
so what did you translate that into? If you could tell the women today the message out of all of the research that you've done and putting Pearl on and into this beautiful production, what would be your message that you'd want to tell women?
Don't judge. Do not judge if you, and women do it all the time.
Right.
Right?
Oh,
Don't judge until you know the backstory, why people do what they do.
Right.
And that's what this book is about. So the musical itself is what happens at Pearl's parlor, Miss Pearl's parlor. So the story is Victoria Pearl worked for the Everleigh sisters, and she brought that model to San Angelo during the times of the Santa Rita well, which turned San Angelo into a big boom town.
So lots of wealthy
Cha-ching,
men.
cha-ching, cha-ching, money. Exactly.
Right.
But these girls that worked there, they weren't loved necessarily. They didn't have families taking care of them. Each one of them was better off at Miss Pearl's parlor. And that's what this book is about, the backstories, how Pearl got into the industry herself, what the industry is all about, why these girls ended up at Miss Pearl's. There was a beautiful sisterhood with these girls, and they all took care of each other.
Right.
Men absolutely need female companionship. It isn't always about sex. In fact, you know.
Yeah, it didn't.
It's not always
It
about.
wasn't on the menu.
It wasn't on the menu. Exactly. It was about the companionship and being close to a woman and satisfying their instincts.
Right.
That's what really this is.
Wow,
and then
that's beautiful.
in part 3, there's some funny stuff. And I tell people all the time, girls will bring their girlfriends to go see Miss Pearl, and then they're going to bring their husbands to come see Miss Pearl. Little education there, guys. Okay.
Yeah, it can't hurt.
No, but so I started writing the songs, and the book came together, but at the same time, I'm a songwriter, obviously, and up until now, I've been writing. I've got 18 CDs of my music. I write in 5 different genres.
Wow.
The girls at Miss Pearl's parlor took care of each other. They all wanted to be married. They didn't want that lifestyle necessarily. Right. They wanted to be in love. And today, in today's world, women haven't changed. That hasn't changed.
Right.
We want to be in love. We're emotional. And it's very difficult when you feel like you've been used. Right.
So is that all part of the girls' stories? Does each character in your book have a unique story and background? And how did you get those stories? Was that a part of your research? Well, here's the weird woo-woo part. Yes. And most artists can tell you that this happens. Right. There was a morning when I woke up and I was kind of in theta. No thoughts yet. I was headed towards the coffee pot. And I had been hearing for several weeks, tell them why we did it. Tell them why we did it. We weren't bad people. Tell them why we did it. And it was real faint, but I would hear this kind of thing. Well, this particular morning, I heard it. I'm getting goosebumps. And nothing, it just kept getting louder in my head. So there was no thoughts, and I went to this place where I got in touch with those voices. And it was almost as if she can hear us, she can hear us, she can hear us. And it got louder and louder and louder in my head. And I said, okay, I'm with you. And I got my coffee, walked to the piano. And by the time I got to the piano, I had written, if you could wear my slippers for just one day, you'd understand why I'm nice to the men and make my living this way. Wow. So I'm sitting at the piano
That was written.
That's incredible.
And I said, tell me your story.
Mm.
Tell me your story. So off to my left, I heard, I am a widow. I have a child to take care of. And that's why I'm at Pearl's Parlor.
Wow.
Behind me, I hear, I'm an orphan. And over to my right, I hear, I took off with a man. I left my home, my family, and he dumped me in the middle of nowhere. And I'm too ashamed to go home, because in those days, unlike today, but in those days, if you were soiled, you were
Right.
trashy.
Yeah.
And that's completely changed now.
Mm.
And this book is to open the dialogue
Right.
to all of that.
To the S word?
Yeah.
Sex?
Yeah. Because sex can be a sporting event. In fact, they were called sporting girls sometimes. But it also can be a beautiful, beautiful expression of love between two people who love each other.
Right.
And that is what I'm bringing to the table here.
Yes. It's so important
It-
in today's world.
It is.
What's your take on whether sex has become more taboo or less taboo over time?
Right now, I think we're getting too much information with sex.
Right.
I mean, everywhere you look, what we've gotten away from is the beauty of sex,
Right.
the intimate communication you can have with somebody,
Mm.
especially if you're trying to make a baby.
Yes.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
You know.
Experience ourselves as ultimate creator. It's
Exactly,
amazing.
exactly. And there's perversion out there.
Right.
You know, there's this perversion that we hear all the time, but we're getting away from the act itself, which is a beautiful gift from God.
It really is.
It is.
It's
that
incredible.
Intimacy that you can have and the beauty of that. And how for women to see themselves as sovereign beings,
Right.
the value that you have as a woman.
Mm-hmm.
We are full, and to hold your mystery.
Yes.
Hold your mystery. Don't let them figure you out.
Mm-hmm.
Don't give it all.
Right.
Because that's the ultimate. You gave it all. And
men love the mystery.
yeah, they love the mystery. They love the hunt.
Right.
They're natural hunters.
Yes. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
It does. But
keep them coming back.
Exactly. But that mystery, there's a great story that's actually in the book about Scheherazade, about the king who would go through women. He would have them one time and have them killed.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's horrible. It's from the Arabian Nights.
Wow, that's
But
terrible.
But Scheherazade, she was very clever. She was creative.
Mm.
And what she did was she would tell him a story. And she'd come to a real climax part of the story and she'd say, I'll tell you tomorrow the rest of the story. And he'd go. So next day she came back. She was alive. And she would tell more of the story. And she'd come to a climax of the story. Tell you the rest tomorrow. And that's how, and he ended up marrying her.
Wow.
It's a beautiful story. So
she changed him.
we as women, all women are creative. And I write music, books, musicals, and people say, oh, I wish I was creative. Are you kidding? Did you choose the bedspread for your bedroom? How do you make your spaghetti? Exactly.
Right.
How did you dress yourself today?
Right.
Exactly. We're all creative beings. And it's important that we are treated with respect. Oh my gosh. Did I say respect? Have I mentioned respect? And appreciation, because when a woman is appreciated and respected, she has so much to give.
Oh yes.
She has so much to give.
I completely agree.
It is, she has a plethora of gifts to give her family, to her friends, to her family, to the world.
Right.
You know, with your creativity or just being kind.
Right.
And women, there's a wonderful book called The Red Tent that talks about the story in the Bible of, I believe it's Jacob, and all the women would go to the tent. They called it the Red Tent because they all menstruated at the same time. And they would sit on straw. And that's where they would all bond together. Because, as you know,
Yeah.
And as any of you females know.
Unfortunately, we're the ones.
Girl talk.
At
When
its
guys are in the
best.
room, it changes. We don't say the same stuff that we say when the men aren't in the room, do we?
No.
No.
Different energy.
But if they could hear, they would be very surprised.
Oh, yeah. They might run away.
Yeah.
In a lot of cases.
Yes. So this is a very educational, biologically educational for men.
Yes.
The play has several places there where it's important to bring to light to the men how to have the ultimate experience and not to do this wham bam thank you ma'am stuff, you know.
Right. In my opinion, a lot of this stuff comes back to communication.
Yes.
Even when we're children, being taught by our own parents how a lot of this stuff works, because that's what gives us the confidence to go forward.
Exactly.
And then once you do start becoming intimate with a partner later on, then you can continue that communication with them and actually tell them what you like, what you don't like.
And they should ask.
Right, and they should ask too. So it's both
ask.
ways. It's the female and the male.
Right.
You should both have that open communication where it's not you being embarrassed about your body or the way that you're doing things together. It's all about talking about the experience you're having together so that you don't get these wrong images in their mind of something that you like or you don't like.
Well,
that they carry on forever.
Exactly. And it's really not their fault.
Right.
Because I've interviewed a lot of women I asked the simple question, have you ever faked it?
Right.
I don't think anyone said no.
Yeah.
And my interviewing women, because we want them to feel like they accomplished their goal.
Right.
So it's really not their fault. When you fake it, they think they did it all right.
And how are they supposed to know?
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't have control over your body.
And maybe you don't either, because I know the talk I got was you put this in that, you spring your sprung, and then you can get a baby.
Yeah.
That's the talk.
Beware.
And we all have that talk, but we don't have that other talk.
Right.
Of our real biology and how
it's natural.
And it's natural, and how women are naturally looking for the male that will protect the children.
Right.
And make sure that they're fed and sheltered.
Mm-hmm.
Except not in today's world.
Right.
Many women have babies without the man present or the father present, which is a whole nother story.
Mm-hmm.
Because they want to have a child. Because it's in our instinct.
Mm-hmm.
So this book and this project is really about opening up the dialogue. Just opening up this dialogue like what we're having right now. That's what Pearl is all about. Opening a dialogue with women and our sons.
Mm.
And our sons. We can educate them.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember with my own son, I said, Jordan, he was like 15 or 16. I said, let me just tell you, honey, when it's time for you to be with a woman, don't ever just do your thing. Okay?
Don't just saddle up.
It takes 17 minutes to awaken the goddess. And he looked at me and he said, what's that mean, Mom? Just know what I'm telling you right now.
Mm-hmm.
17 minutes to awaken the goddess, and that's explained in the book.
So you need to buy a copy for every male.
Which basically is just the man saying, what can I do to get you ready for this beautiful act?
Right.
That's all it is. And you might, want your toes, down, you like it behind the ear, whatever, just what would you like?
Right.
And let the woman tell you. And then she knows that you care. And you'll have about her experience.
Right. And if you come at it with that intention to actually make it this deep, incredible connection together instead of just this getting off.
You said it, not me.
Yeah. It's like the energy between those two. One
Right.
is kind of like a task that you can mark off your to-do list.
Exactly.
And the other is this incredible experience.
Exactly. Because, in fact, in the play,
Mm-hmm.
Miss Pearl says, how many times can a woman give birth in 9 months?
Once.
Once. How many times can a man father a child in 9 months?
Wow.
Technically thousands.
As many times as he can.
And that's how we're wired.
Right.
That's exactly how we're wired. After the
Wow.
baby comes, then we take care of the baby, we nourish the baby, and the dad is the provider, and that's what we're looking for, a good man to be the provider.
Mhm.
But nowadays, now that women have their own careers, that's not really necessary, but in the 20s it was.
Right.
And up until the 20s it was. That's when women started going to school and getting educated and getting their own careers.
Mhm.
And things started changing. People wouldn't really get divorced in the old days.
Right.
They just keep on going. You know?
Social norms.
Yeah, exactly. But now, you know, parents of the bride are going, I hope this lasts. That cost a whole lot.
Yes.
That costs a lot of money.
Let's hope for the best.
Right. But Pearl is for women, about women, to open a dialogue with your friends, with women,
Mhm.
and share objectively with the men in our lives.
Wow.
Read this part, honey.
Yeah.
Read this part. You know, read this part.
And then you might want to read the context
Yeah.
too, because it's all amazing stuff.
You know, thank you. Because we don't want them to feel like they failed,
Right.
especially when you care about the man you're with. And so that's why it's, you know, people fake it. They don't know that they've done anything, that they could have done any better, because we made them
Right.
think, yeah, yeehaw.
And I've even heard that nowadays a lot of men fake it too.
Yes.
So it's not just the females doing
Yes.
it, it's also men.
Getting back to what you said, communication is
Yes.
key. Communication is key.
Right.
But even when I was in high school, the girls that had sex in high school were like the trashy, dirty girls.
Hmm.
And it was uncomfortable to talk about sex. It was kind of a taboo subject.
Right.
Nowadays, with the information age, I mean, it's everywhere, but it still needs to be in context of its beauty, what it can be. And for women, oh gosh, women, and how many times have I ever felt used?
Mm.
I don't now, because I'm with a man who loves me,
Right.
but many, many, many times. How many times have you ever just felt like you were used?
Mhm.
No respect, no phone call.
You didn't feel human.
Even nowadays, from what I've heard, you know, they've got this booty call thing. They don't even ask you your name or give you a cup of coffee.
Oh yeah, the apps.
The apps. It's like,
Oh no.
I got an itch. Let's go get that itch scratched. You know?
But
Okay.
again, the females are going on there too, looking for the same thing.
Exactly.
Because they don't know where to find this deeper connection that you've
Exactly.
been talking about.
And we also know that when there's women who won't, there's women who will.
Right.
And in high school, there were everybody knew the girls who would and the girls who wouldn't.
Right.
And the girls who would got most of the attention.
Mhm.
Now it's different. It's like completely changed, switched to, if you don't do it, you're out of it.
Right.
Yeah, if you're not someone who's willing to
Put out.
yeah, thank you for these words. Yeah, if you're not willing to put out, then you're not going to be popular.
Right. So then you're kind of shamed
Right.
for not.
For saying no, I'm a sacred vessel.
Right.
When I feel there's respect and
Mhm.
appreciation, then we can go in that direction. But so also in the play,
Mhm.
there is a song and a place where we talk about Dr. Get Her Off.
Yes.
Yes.
I was really hoping that you would talk about this because this song is hilarious. It makes me laugh so much.
There was a thing called female hysteria
Mhm.
before the 1900s, and women would go to their doctor when they were PMSing or whatever and he would massage them into an orgasm. He knew how to do that because no one ever taught the husbands, or, and also a lot of times the husbands would go to brothels because they didn't want to ask their wives to do things that the girls at the brothels would do. So
right. Again, opening that dialogue, that communication.
And sometimes these poor doctors, their hands would get all cramped, and because girls are going, okay, fix it.
There's 20 more in line.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody needs this.
Exactly. And so there was a Dr. Mortimer in England. I wrote a whole song about it, and there's a scene there. He invented the vibrator.
As a need from his sore hands.
Exactly. So the difference, and they sold it in the Sears catalog.
Wow.
The vibrator. 1904. You can go look it up. There it is. Vibrators in the Sears catalog. Exactly.
That's amazing.
Exactly. And back to biology.
Yes.
We're back on biology again. So
yeah.
Need to read the book. Need to come to the musical.
It's amazing.
Bring the musical to your town.
Yes. All over the world. Everybody needs this information.
All over the world. Yes, we have this. And we also have a song called Susie Poontang.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, and because Susie Poontang was a real person. You want to know where that word came from? Come to the musical.
So how did it get its comedy flair within the musical?
Because I think it's important to bring humor to serious subjects.
Mm-hmm. That's a great way to communicate with the audience.
Yes, because we can laugh at our human nature. And what's funny about sex at all, just talking about it makes people smile or laugh.
Or hide.
Like we're laughing right now. We don't go, ew, that's dirty.
Yeah,
No, we don't do that. We're about really understanding what a beautiful gift that is.
Right.
Of communication and how distorted it's been through the years. Women in the old days, that's your wifely duty. You have to do it, And men didn't know, really. They weren't educated. And even today, they're not educated necessarily. Another thing, my son went to a fraternity party, and they were showing a film, How to Please a Woman. Jordan said all his buddies were walking around and saying, oh, I don't need that. I know what I'm doing. He said, I took notes.
Front and center.
Front and center. Okay. All right.
They should show that in high school to
anybody who is
students.
Yes, just to understand our anatomy.
Right.
But girls, don't give yourself away. When you do, you give up your mystery. And you're going to feel like you were used. It really messes with your self-esteem.
Right. Yeah, you're shedding that confidence that you had when you were full. Right. You're actually getting rid of part of you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in closing, I want to invite people to come to my website. I have a beautiful website.
Yay.
CynthiaProductions.com. You can read all about Pearl and what the story's about. And also the music I write is you can download for free.
Wow.
Because
what an incredible gift.
Music is free now.
Mm-hmm.
And it just is. People don't really pay for music anymore.
Right.
But so I want to offer it to everybody. We actually had over 5 million downloads of my music.
Wow. That's amazing.
Back when it first was recorded back in the early 2000s. Just very tranquil, beautiful music for healing, that type of thing. I've got that. I've also got Yeehaw Country. Got songs for children.
And the Pearl music too, right?
And the Pearl music is there. And I also wrote a ballet.
Wow. Oh my goodness. Yep, you've done it all.
The Miracle of the Lady in Blue, and I'm still cranking it out.
Wow. And last question in closing, going back to the girls from the book, do you feel like you have fulfilled their story?
Oh gosh.
They wanted you to tell?
I had it. Well, lately they're back. I know it sounds weird, but goofy little stuff happens all the time. And I'll say, hi girls, I know you're here. I know you're here. Because they're so excited. that someone is telling their story. But I did have one moment sitting in my living room and I was looking at my bonus room. And for some reason I could just feel, I'll get emotional.
Aw.
Thank you.
Wow.
Just thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of women that have passed on the other side. Just saying, thank you for giving us a voice. Thank you for understanding, for making them understand why we did what we did, because we were treated so horribly.
Right.
Right?
No, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, the ripple effect that this will even have now, thinking about it being on all of these global stages and all of the women and men who will hear the message and they'll actually listen.
Yes.
They'll hear it. And then that not only impacts the people today, but that impacts every generation going forward.
Yes. Thank you for that, Vanessa. Thank you.
So powerful.
Yeah, right. Because, I mean, we're hearing about trafficking and all of this perverted, horrible stuff going on. And because it all goes back to biology and men wanting to feel their power, whatever. And we need to be kind. We need to love each other. We need to understand God's gifts.
Right.
And sex is a gift.
Yes. Yes.
When you're in love.
Bring honesty to that. Like, just be honest.
Exactly.
It is a beautiful, like, very satiating act.
Exactly. And ladies, if you want, I'm personally going to give you permission. You can use a vibrator.
Maybe even two.
And you don't have to go to Sears anymore. They're available. I think they sell them on Amazon now.
Is that on your website too?
Yeah, I should do an affiliate link on that. No. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well,
Thank
this
you.
has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for talking with me and sharing all of this beautiful information and all of your beautiful works. I can't wait to see where Pearl goes.
Thank you, Vanessa. It's been fun.
Yes, that's what it's all about.
Amazon.com, folks. Pearl.
And CynthiaProductions.com. They can
Cynthia,
find all
yes.
of this content as well. So thank you all. Have a blessed day.